YouTube, Electric Adventures here, and welcome to my room tour for 2019. So this mess you're looking at the moment is my workbench. Lots and lots of stuff on there. And moving into the next section, we have a very small Switch collection right next to one of my favourite bits of my collection, which is my MSX titles. They take up quite a few shelves, and no, they're not in alphabetical order. They're sort of in whatever order that fits. That cassette drawer is also full of cartridges. I did a tour recently, and it continues up this row as well. They're sort of sorted by publisher, so keeping the like titles together. And then we pan up, and you see my Atari collection. Now this is mostly Atari 2600, but there are some Atari 7800 titles up in the top left, and some 5200 titles as well. Just standing back there a little bit, we showing the ColecoVision collection, one of the my larger sections of my collection. A little bit of a pan, so it goes the original release titles first, and then when they run out about halfway along the shelf, we start all the homebrew titles. And my word, have there been lots of homebrew titles for the ColecoVision. I love collecting them. I don't have every single one that's released. I missed out some from early in the day, but I've managed to keep up in a reasonable way. And hiding in that bottom right hand corner is my NES collection. And one bit I missed before was my Famicom collection next to the MSX. Now here is my almost complete set of Sega Master System games, and that's World Set Complete. I am missing the titles that were released in South America. I don't have any of those. A couple of titles from the US, and a couple of titles that just haven't lucked upon at the right price. We have my children's tidiest collection, my PAL PlayStation collection, a couple of Tandy games sitting there for some reason, and a Mega Drive game, and then we go up to my shoot 'em up section of my Mega Drive on the right there. And on the left is my normal Mega Drive collection. Bit of a pan up there on top, lots of boxes of things. There are some items in those things. And we have some Wii titles, original Xbox, GameCube. I zoom in for a bit closer look there, just so you can have a better look. And as I said, I'm not going to go through individual titles in this particular room tour. I am doing individual collection titles tours as I get a chance. A little bit closer look at the boxes up there. You've got the Sega 3D glasses up there, a couple of Saturn controllers, boxes from my PlayStations, my two Sega SG-3000s are up there, controllers, the box for the Oric. Now my PAL Saturn collection is hiding behind Star Wars cups there, so I do apologise for that. My tiny PAL Nintendo 64 collection. Couple of loose early consoles there. This is my Japanese Nintendo 64 collection. Quite a few nice titles in there. I've collected over a period of time. Now we did pan quickly across, mainly because the boxes of arcade boards are in the way. There are Apple II titles on the shelf to the left. Now this is my Acorn Electron collection. Quite a few games in there. I have not had a chance to play all those, and some of my old development books. And my Game Boy collection is actually in that folder that we had a little sneak peek of just then. Right, so after some focusing problems, we get my Jaguar box and my PC Engine Duo, which is in there. That one doesn't quite work properly, and the box for an MSX behind. And we have my PlayStation Portable collection. I really like the PlayStation Portable. I have an original model and a 3000 model as well. Funnily enough, hiding on that shelf is also a tape recorder for the pet. Some old magazines and some games I haven't done some gameplays of. Right, I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see the arcade cabinets. Now, this cabinet here is running my games, got my copy of Frogger in it, but it's actually my friend Gary's cabinet. He will be taking that to his place when he reorganises and gets a bit more room, so that one will be going. But that is my Frogger board. Since it's only a single joystick button one, it's perfect for Frogger because I can't play shoot 'em ups in that style panel to save myself. Now, this is my Pride and Joy Space Pilot cabinet. Which is a really nice cabinet. The controls are really comfortable to use when you're playing shooters, and it works really well. Next we have my mini vertical cabinet that I'm making into a Tutankhamun cabinet. It is all pretty much done up, other than a little bit of paint around the surround and maybe polish up those coin mechs, and I need to get the monitor chassis service, so it works. And this is the Berserk cabinet that I got recently, an original one from the US, currently being fixed. Nothing wrong with the monitor though. Then we have my original Nintendo cabinet. There was a Space Firebird, obviously labelled as Bosconian, but I have the 19-in-1 horizontal running at the moment. Then we have a home-built Neo Geo MVS with the 160-in-1. And then the very first cabinet I got, a vertical Leisureland cabinet with Fireshark in it. Hiding in the corner is a couple of models and boxes, and my Star Wars Lego collection, which is all the original movies Legos, after which when the new movies came out I stopped collecting Lego. In the corner there are my Star Wars role-playing books, and you're not really going to see this very well, but down hidden in this corner is a tremendous lot of big box PC software, because I was a PC gamer for quite some time, and in that corner is also my boxes of cables, which really need to be tidied up. And on the floor in the way there are boxes of arcade boards. I've moved my mini cabinets over here, so my Frogger That Works, Scramble, Galaxian, which is one from back in the day, Champion Racer, and my two cabinets that I've had recently, mini cabinets. So you've got my Spectrum games there. A couple more on the next shelf. And I think the Amstrad games are just there in the middle. A couple more Electron games that don't fit on the other shelf. Some of my own software hiding in the corner. The software for the Dick Smith Wizard, the Neo Geo Pocket, and Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, and 3DO, and a couple of spare titles available for trade down there. Now going back to this shelf, we have my Intellivision collection, which is pretty close to having most of the games. There's a few titles missing there. Game Gear, and then PlayStation Vita, which I played extensively. I have played most of those games, and my Atari Lynx collection. I have two Lynxes, the second one's down there, that's the one I played the most, and then we have my Atari Jaguar collection. There are some empty boxes on the right, but mostly those are completed titles. A few boxes in there. There's a couple of interesting things in there. I said I'm not going to open every box and everything in this particular room tour. Now this is my PlayStation 2 collection. I have to pan out a bit to have a look at that. I do have a lot of PlayStation 2 titles. They're all PAL. The top left hand section are the shoot 'em ups, and then you have all of the collections, and then after that it's in alphabetical order besides the stuff that's on top, because I couldn't be bothered reorganising it to put those titles that I've collected since in there. But hopefully this slow pan will give you a bit of an idea of the titles. Some more Star Trek figures. Then we have my SG-1000, SC-3000 collection, which is very close to being complete. You know, some very interesting, unique titles to that system. Sorry about the shaky cam when we get near the top there. It's getting pretty high. Got my minis there. Not all of them are there at the moment. Now there's my original Space Invaders cabinet. So that's a true original Space Invaders. We have the board working. The monitor works. We've just got to sort the power supply out so it gets sound. Now consoles, there's two different region GameCubes with a... Oh, and there's my MSX 2 Plus that I use a fair bit. You've got the Amstrad GX4000 on top of those GameCubes. We have a Japanese PlayStation sitting on top of PlayStation 2. We have a PAL and NTSC Genesis, and my Super Famicom, original Xbox, and my PAL and Japanese Nintendo 64s. There's a bit of a closer look at the minis. I have this SNES one and the PlayStation one. So going across here we have my Sega Saturn titles. I'm sorry about the shaky cam. I hope you guys can read these titles. Lots of titles for the Saturn, lots of shooters as well. Then we go over to our PC Engine, and this is the shooter section, and down below we have the more general titles. I really should have moved these figures, but my friend Aaron gave me the Back to the Future and Terminator 2 Judgment Day figures. Then we have my Japanese PlayStation collection and my Neo Geo CD, and a couple of cheeky China copies of games for ones that I'm not going to spend the money on buying those. My Coleco Super Game module and various Coleco add-ons, including our Coleco Gemini over there. I do like my Coleco stuff. Boba Fett Poppet, and here's some more Saturn titles that like double CD ones, and same for the PC Engine, one PAL Dreamcast game. There are my Super CD and CD-ROM for the PC Engine, a Lonely NES controller. Sorry, my hand was obviously starting to shake here. Then we have my Dreamcast, which is a Japanese one. A console I play a lot with a Neo Geo CD. And my Japanese Saturn, sent to me by Luke Morse. Below that, my Atari Jaguar, love that system. And below that, hiding there, is an Amiga CD32, which is not mine, that is owned by Brendan, one of my local friends. He'll surely want it back soon when he finishes his game room. So that's my Star Wars ship collection. I couldn't fit them all on there, but I've added an extra shelf there. And below that, we have my Super Famicom, PAL SNES and American SNES games. So lots of titles there, lots of interesting titles, nowhere near a complete collection or anything like that, but lots of shooters, platform games, just games I like that I've picked up over time, and really enjoying the Super Famicom games I've got. You can also see the couple of PAL and US games there as well, and a few loose. And then we have magazines, lots of magazines. And below that, my sci-fi role-playing game collection. Something all from my back in the day, and a few computer magazines there as well. So going back up, a couple of posters on the wall. There's nothing really special with those posters. They're all just fairly cheapies. I wouldn't mind doing something a little better. Do a reverse pan so you can see that in a little bit more detail around there. That's the couch I sit at, and that's the area where I play my games. You can see my PC Engine Duo R there. Now this little bookcase has my Amiga games. I have my Amiga utility software on a different shelf. I had to move them because I got a lot of them a few months ago and ran out of space, so I put this shelf in. There is a printer sitting there that I've got to get rid of. Also, I've got another cocktail cabinet there that is empty that I'm putting stuff in, and my Sega Galaxian cocktail cabinet that I rescued from the tip. This is a little cabinet I've put in just so I can work on a couple of computers and have them out because they're large. So you've got my original Spectravideo equipment, also my Vectrex sitting up there. We have the Commodore PET that I got a while back that I still need to fix. We have a Spectravideo 728 MSX with 5 1/4 that I'm having a go at the moment. My MSX Tower of Power, so I've got two different MSXs there. And also hidden underneath there, you won't be able to see those, is a Spectrum 128K and my Commodore 64C. It's my editing workstation. We have an Amiga 1200, and below that we have an Atari 800XE. Now in here we have a Hitachi MSX, Philips Video Pack, a graphics tablet. There's also a VZ200 sitting in the corner there, Yamaha MSX, and the keyboards behind it. This is my Atari 8-bit collection, various different models. There's my lovely Atari 800. There is also an Atari 400 in a box on the shelves we went past before. My original Commodore 64 bread box. An Einstein 256, which is the second Einstein model. Neo Geo X, yeah, that was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? A Spectrum, what is it, a +2, isn't it? I can't remember the model. And a Dick Smith sitting on top of a Dick Smith System 80, and that's my original Amiga 1000 with an Amiga 500 sitting on top of it. A Mematech MTX sitting on top of an Amstrad. ZX80, the two Auric machines, an original Terrasati colour machine. All of the models of the Spectravideos, to pad those out. A Mattel Aquarius, a BBC Micro, and a BBC Master Compact is hiding up there. And an Archimedes, and my Electron. Down there, lots of spare Spectravideo gear that I'm going through, and the same thing for the BBC, lots of drives and things like that. Up here is my other MSX2 Plus on top of my Atari ST. You saw a spare Atari ST sitting on the Sega Galaxian, and my hard drive for my Atari ST and monitor. My other BBC Micro sitting on top of my Apple IIe Platinum. TRS-80 Model 3. Monitor does have vertical collapse at the moment, got to fix it, and the drive unit for the PET. Pile of software, some Xbox titles got to send to a friend, a whole pile of VIC-20 games that I'm going to do gameplays of soon. Then we have this lovely big cabinet where I store all my magazines and books for Atari ST. The upper shelf's got the Amiga productivity software on the left, a couple more MSX models for this from Spectravideo, my Atari ST software, my Atari ST productivity software, including all the programming tools. We have my small Vectrex collection. I do have most of the titles, but mostly loose, and a couple of multi-cards. My Spectravideo collection. And then we have my Commodore 64 collection, including cartridges. And we go into my Atari 8-bit collection. Now, I do have more Commodore 64 tape titles there in that tape unit we breezed past before. Up the top there, we've got my TI-99 4A collection and my very small VIC-20 collection, although you can add all those other cartridges. And we pan across my joystick collection, all different types of Atari types of joysticks. And then top shelf are some knickknacks my children have given me over the years, and some more of my original PAL consoles that I don't really use very much. And hidden up there is my Box ZX81. Now, a couple of little things to finish off. First, we have a little section in our lounge room where you can see my video collection, all my DVDs, also some PlayStation 3 games, more Wii games, and our Wii U games. We do have some gaming equipment in this room, and that's basically, it's our main lounge room. So we have a PlayStation 3, the Wii U, and our larger TV. And we watch most of our movies and things here as well. Right, we also have another gaming area, which is our second lounge room, and in this one I have my PlayStation 4, I have my Retro Freak, and another Laserdisc player. Probably don't watch as many movies in this room, but I'm definitely playing my PlayStation 4 games in there as well. Alright, I hope you have all enjoyed this tour of my game room. I'm Electric Adventures. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.